With me now is Middle East policy analyst Harley Lippman. Harley, lovely to have you on the show. Get us up to date on the latest updates in this conflict. Where do we sit? Where do we sit this morning?
Well, certainly publicly, as we can hear, the United States and Iran are miles apart. It's not even close. That Iran is looking for the United States to pay reparations, never going to happen. That Iran is looking for the United States to recognize Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, which is an international open waterway, never going to happen. So I don't see a resolution coming through with these negotiations. And the way I see it is that the leadership of Iran are somewhat delusional. They think they're winning. I mean, they have a very low bar. They describe themselves as winning because they survived. But let's look at what survival looks like. Inflation is over 100%. Their currency is worthless. Millions of people have been unemployed due to the war. They're losing $500 million a day in oil revenue because of the American blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. Their economy is teetering on collapse. It didn't collapse yet. Everybody's asking when. No one knows for sure. But it's a matter of weeks, perhaps, maybe a month or two at most. But in the context of wars, this is very short. Wars go on a very long time. Just look at Russia and Ukraine. They're in their fifth war now, fifth year of the war.
I just want to pick up on that point around the state of Iran today. And you're right that the country is suffering a lot of pain, but the argument would be that the Iranian regime can take a lot more pain than the United States. They fundamentally don't care about their people.
That's true.
They are not accountable as a democracy. So some people would say to you, well, you know what, they're just going to cling on and basically try and wait it out because Trump is getting less and less popular as the war goes on. Europe and the UK are deeply unhappy about it, and the American people want to see a quick resolution.
All that is true, and you could add to it the midterm elections. The price of gas is going to go up. Even among his own base, there's a real skepticism about never-ending wars. So the list goes on, why I understand how Iran thinks that they can wait it out. They're also very much reading the North Vietnamese handbook and how they handled negotiations with the United States. So they're trying to drag it out. It is a test of wills. But everybody has underestimated President Trump. And while everything you said and I pointed out is technically correct, at the end of the day, when they run out of money, and that's going to happen soon, and they can't pay the IRGC soldiers and the Basij soldiers who repress the population, I'm not sure those soldiers are going to shoot on their own people when they're not getting paid. And while it's true they're going to pass the burden on to their own people, there's a point where everybody has a breaking point. And Iran has it too. They just haven't hit the wall yet. But when they do, they're going to collapse and all that bravado is going to fall away.
Yeah, time will tell on that score. The one other thing which I'm curious about, which I referred to in the previous hour, is it feels to me, and my view is UK-centric, but it feels to me in the UK, in Europe and in the US that there is a sentiment which is starting to settle amongst the everyday man and woman, and indeed amongst the media, that this war was a mistake. And it's one of those ones where in the pub it is just taken as read. Oh yeah, this was folly. And it feels to me like that is partially because the White House have stopped trying to tell the story as to why this was important. Both, I think, a really clear moral imperative to go after the evil Iranian regime, the necessity to stop them from getting a nuke, the necessity to degrade their military capabilities, to wipe out their leadership. I think they actually have still a good story to tell. But it feels to me they are losing the messaging war now because they are not going out and arguing for it.
You make a great point. In many ways, they are losing the messaging war. And this is where the Iranians excel. It would have been a lot better if the president early on did what probably other presidents would have done, sat down at the Oval Office on a Friday night at 9 o'clock and laid out very clearly all the reasons why we need to go to war against Iran. And he didn't do that. He's not disciplined. He's spontaneous. But there are two main reasons that we have to keep in mind why this war is a good idea. And we are where we are. Yes, maybe it wasn't thought out well enough in the beginning. Yes, Iran is able to turn the tables on us by blackmailing nations and closing the Straits of Hormuz. That happens in a war. The enemy has a vote, and there are losses and wins. But in looking at this, let's go to the fundamentals. Reason one why we went to war is that no nation, certainly in American history, has ever been more obsessed with destroying the United States than Iran. Mm-hmm. And when your adversary says they want to kill you, it's arrogance to think we know better what they mean than their own words. From taking American hostages to blowing up the American embassy in Beirut, to blowing up the Marine barracks and killing hundreds of Americans. They bled us in Afghanistan. They bled us in Iraq. They've tried to assassinate the President of the United States twice. They've tried to assassinate members of his cabinet from the first administration. This is a regime that is truly an existential threat to the United States. They're building ICBMs, intercontinental ballistic missiles, with the sole purpose to carry a nuclear warhead to reach the United States. Now, why do you think that is? So I think that's reason one. Reason two, President Trump has a strategy on China, which previous American presidents didn't have, which is leveraging oil. By taking oil from Venezuela and Iran, it would make it very difficult for Iran to go to war against Taiwan, which could bring on a bigger, more catastrophic World War III. So I think that's the second reason why he's taken on this war.
Well, I think that's well articulated. I'd just like to hear it come from the White House as opposed to from our wonderful commentators on GB News. Harley, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Still ahead on The Late Show Live.